Welcome to the Hamumu Halloween Home Horror Hoedown, the podcast where we watch scary movies so you don't have to.
From award-winning to completely unknown, we take them all way too seriously.
I'm your host, Mike Hommel.
And I'm your host, Solange Hommel.
Now, warning, we use a ghoulish number of spoilers, so watch the movies first.
Second warning, we don't know anything about anything, so don't take us seriously as we take these movies seriously.
It's a very special day.
Is it?
I didn't know it was gonna be, but now it is.
Surprise special day!
On today's very special day, which is less special for you guys, we are just going to marathon horror movies and record podcasts in between. We're just going to go back and forth and see how many we do.
So far, we've done one.
That's how far we've got. However, well, we haven't really because we haven't recorded it yet. But
right, we've done half of one.
Yeah. But for you guys, those will just be one a week as usual. But just think how exciting it will be to know that they all came from the day of movies. Right?
Yes. I don't think they're going to care at all, but I'm glad you're happy about it.
I am happy about it.
I know.
It makes me think of October, even though it's currently September as we record this.
October is coming at us like a freight train, though.
Every month keeps doing that, and I don't get it anymore. I've given up on everything about, basically everything outside of my house is no longer, it's like the floor is lava, but it's the world.
How is that different from the previous 49 years of your life?
I used to think that there was hope in the world and that good things could happen. And
you still didn't go outside.
No, it's not that I went outside. It's that I was, like I'd learn about what's going on out there and be like, all right.
Yeah, that's not the reaction we have to anything that's happening out in the world these days.
No, that's why we're at home watching movies nonstop.
We're fun. We're dorks.
No, who told you that? Who hurt you?
There's a long list, and it's all people who live outside of our house.
Well, you sound like A Wounded Fawn 2022.
It is always fun to see how you bring the title of the movie in to our nonsense.
Well, that's because we're fun.
We're fun. Yes, A Wounded Fawn 2022. I am not going to lie. This movie surprised me.
It's not a normal movie.
It is not a normal movie. It feels very indie.
Yeah.
Like very small scale in the sense of like it just, I don't even know what it is about it that feels that way because I feel like the production values were good. The special effects were
some of them
okay. Like they were better than most indie films would manage.
Some interesting choices.
And it was a lot of like really physical special effects, like costuming and things like that. And the acting was surprisingly good.
Yes, let's remark that this movie starred Josh Rubin, famed for his many appearances on Dropout.
Which I suspect most of you don't know anything about, and that's very sad. You should definitely subscribe to Dropout. It's the best TV out there right now.
Absolutely.
And the funniest.
Yes.
Josh Rubin, here's the thing. This is the most surprising thing for me about this movie, is that having only known Josh Rubin from Dropout, I only know him for his improv comedy. And then we start watching this movie and I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. What? How he's the guy who makes seagull noises with his voice. Like, how is this going to work? And he's really good, actually.
Well, big twist. We've seen him in a horror movie before.
Have we?
I should know what it's
called. What other horror movie was he in?
Let me just access him from here. We've reviewed it.
Let me
find out what it's called first. Okay, upon further review, you may not have even seen this movie, but it was a movie where Josh and some woman were in a cabin together telling scary stories to each other, and each one was a little short film.
Okay.
So that was a thing.
Wait, and then he's in Heart Eyes.
Which is a serial killer movie about, Valentine's Day, which came out Valentine's Day this year. We haven't seen it. We should see it.
I feel like we wanted to see it.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about this movie, though.
This movie was about a wounded fawn.
This movie was so full of symbolism. Speaking
Yes,
of the
it
wounded
sure
fawn.
was. Some very blatant symbolism.
Yes. In fact, now that you say that, that's what gives it the indie feel to me. This feels like a movie that was written by someone who was deep in their like college years of like just discovering philosophy and
Yeah.
all of that and being like, oh, everything means something.
Guys, what if there was a snake?
Yeah. And like just starting to be super exposed to things like, you know, medieval art and, you know, all of that stuff. Because this story revolves around the Furies, but they don't call them that because I think maybe is that like the whole like Greek Roman mythology like thing?
I'm not sure, but I think they're both Greek, but Erinyes or Erinyes, I don't know how you say it. That's the other term for them.
So it's is it three women?
3 women or possibly werewolves.
Who seek revenge for crimes against the family? Is that what you said?
Well, I Googled this during the movie, and it said especially not crimes against the family. What was it? Like, you know, offenses
Sins,
against the family. But especially those, but any crime against the natural order. They provide retribution and whatnot. So kind of right-wingers.
Well, I mean, it really comes down to what you think the natural order is, what that means to you.
Yeah, but being so, uptight about it. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Although in this case, the natural order did seem to be don't murder people.
Or steal. They were big about the stealing.
Yes. Murderer, thief were the 2 accusations they made most at him. So anyway, Josh Rubin plays this guy who thinks it makes me think of Dexter Morgan's Dark Passenger. He has a thing in his brain that takes control of him and makes him do terrible things that he doesn't want to do,
Yeah,
that he feels
doesn't
awful
want to.
about. And it's this like red owl thing. And anytime he sees something of beauty, he must have it. And
it's not him, though. It's an owl that says that. It says, how many legs?
creepy. So basically, he's a serial killer driven by the craziness in his brain. And this story follows him. You know, there's a little prologue about him killing somebody, a beautiful woman, in order to get a beautiful statue of the Furies.
Which they definitely wanted to make sure we knew about, and they like rattled off the mythology behind it before auctioning it.
Yes, the auctioneer was just there for exposition. He had to explain all the things and who each of the different Furies was. There was one that had a wolf head, and there was one that had snake hair. And maybe was she the same one that was holding the torch? There was one that was holding a torch. And there was another one
with like snakes along her arm.
Yes. So he gets this statue in the little prologue. But the main story is he's dating this beautiful woman who's a museum curator who has just come out of and just sort of recovered from a bad relationship. And now they're going away to a cabin where they're going to spend the weekend. And it was funny how not only were there red flags, like his behavior was things where we were saying like, oh, that's red flag behavior. And then they drove past like a literal field of red flags.
And the camera like cut to him like 4 different times. It was like,
yes.
Seriously, guys.
Yes.
These are red flags.
It's like the camera was jimming the camera.
Yeah.
So they get to the cabin and, you know, he's being weird and she's following into her same pattern of just like ignoring the weirdness because she wants to be in this relationship or feel wanted or something. And then much earlier than I expected, he tries to kill her, almost succeeds.
Yeah.
She tries to kill him back, almost succeeds. And then like the second half of the movie is just a fever dream that he's experiencing because his skull has been cracked open and he is having like bad brain injury symptoms.
Yeah, and unbeknownst to us, because it's never shown in the movie, the woman he was trying to murder has like duct tape her neck shut, because what he did was he clawed her neck open. And apparently she was okay with that, but she duct taped it all shut, and she has been tormenting him this whole time. But we don't really know what she actually did. We just know the crazy stuff that he was experiencing.
I mean, you can kind of, there's some guessing that could be done. Like he hallucinates a sheet flapping in the wind, talking to him. Okay, well, clearly she was flapping that sheet and talking at him, right?
I guess.
Like some of it is pretty obvious, and others, like you can see in how it's done that it's definitely showing us there's a real component. She is doing this, or, you know, you eventually realize she's not dead. So she was doing this to him all along. And his brain, because he has a traumatic brain injury and he's crazy, like those things are contributing to like taking what she's doing and turning it into something that's much more real than it might otherwise be. He's hallucinating a lot.
Yeah, so really it's a horror movie for the serial killer.
It is.
Poor guy.
And I guess I should ask you, how did you feel about that air quotes twist of her being the one who was doing the things she was the one tormenting him for most of the movie?
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's revenge.
Did you feel like it was twisty? Because I feel like it was meant to be twisty.
That's the thing, is this movie is not normal. This is a very unique story. So, you know, it's not like it's a big twist, but like you would have never guessed where this movie was going in the first place, like from the beginning.
Not necessarily true.
Shh, I said so.
Okay.
Know your place, woman.
Okay. No, here's the thing. As soon as the thing he was obsessed with, the piece of art he was obsessed with, was a statue of 3 vengeful women,
well,
I'm
yes.
like, dude, something's going to happen to you.
No, I absolutely thought this movie was him getting revenged upon. But just the way that it plays out, that, you know, that half the movie is after they both have, quote, died. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird movie.
It is a weird movie
about kind of a basic plot, really, but done in a really weird way.
I think that's what I liked about it, is that it's not a super unique story. I mean, male serial killer takes woman victim out into the woods and tries to kill her. Like, that's every freaking horror movie ever.
Watch the red flags.
And they did it in a way that wasn't completely unique. This has been done before.
Yeah.
But it was unique enough for me. And I liked the fact that it was, they used this piece of art as the inspiration for this story.
Yeah.
Is how it feels. Like they were like, okay, here's a piece of art. Here's the background behind it. Write a scary story.
It was a writing assignment.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's
it worked.
fun. I like that kind of thing. I like things that work within constraints.
Yes.
I don't know. It's that kind of indie, the unique presentation that is what it's all about. Like, it's that thing where what we're getting is the creator's vision at us instead of just following normalness. And that was fun. The whole movie actually has this like filter over it to make it look like it's a 70s movie, kind of like it's set in the present day with cell phones and everything, but like there's hairs caught on the screen and stuff, and it's all so it looks old. And the cabin they went to is the most 70s place I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it was one of those things where, like, sure, they're modern millennials, I suppose they would be age-wise.
Probably.
And they kind of are in that, like, retro phase where, you know, the retro cabin, and like she brings along an old 45 record for them to listen to that is
really
probably 60s.
What an odd song.
Well, yeah. And why? Like, okay, again, I feel like there was a symbolism there.
There's all symbolism everywhere.
And I'm not sure. Here's where things start to get a little shaky for me. If we really start like picking it apart. The song is an example, and his obsession with this statue is an example. Okay, the song, first of all, she brings the song. She is in her post-abusive relationship, post-therapy. I'm mostly recovered. She's celebrating with her friends. the three of them in the museum, but looking very much like the Furies themselves.
Don't turn out to be the Furies.
Oh, I so wanted them to be. Yeah. She is in this like empowerment phase, right? So the song she brought to share with this new relationship is a song where a guy's like, if I had $1 million and you had nothing, I'd give you $1. And it's not because I don't love you. It's because I love myself more.
Me.
Literally, that's not me like interpreting the song. No, those are the lyrics of the song,
that's
essentially.
What it says. Yeah.
And I don't understand what the purpose, like outside of the story, the symbolism, obviously. But I don't understand within the context of her as a character going on a date with this new guy. What is she trying to get across here? Why?
It's a weird song. It's not the most romantic choice.
No, it was bizarre. And related to that, but maybe a little bit less confusing, because I can see why it would work, is the problem of they needed it to be this piece of artwork because, as we've already decided, this was the inspiration piece for the story.
It was the prompt.
Yes.
The improv prompt.
This little statuette of the Furies attacking a man is where the story starts. So he has to be obsessed with that piece.
Sure.
By the end, you're like, why were you, a man who kills women, obsessed with a piece of artwork that is entirely about women seeking revenge on men like you?
Because he's one of the good ones, Sully.
It did have that energy.
He's just a nice guy. He can't help it if his dark passenger says to do things. And so, you know, he's the guy who would say, wow, I can't believe that guy didn't open the door for you.
Yes.
Except I say that, but during the whole time they were together, like driving up there and stuff, he was not overly kind. He was like kind of creepy and kind of demanding.
But I think that still fits. Like, the I'm one of the good one guys are those guys, and they don't even see it. Like, they're so oblivious, they don't even know, because the only things they recognize are like opening a door or, you know, telling you you're pretty when you smile. They think those are the things that make them feminists, or, you know, that he's willing to work in a field where they allow women to also work in that field. Like, there's a mentality there. And I fully believe that he thought he was one of the good guys. And anything bad that he did immediately was someone else made him do it. No, there was no responsibility taken.
It's not all men. It's just the men inside the brain.
And so I think even if he were to realize, like, oh, maybe I was a little rude to her, or, oh, I should have done whatever, immediately it would be, well, I didn't because she made me do this. She made me say this. She didn't wait for me to open the door. Whatever. Garbage.
Yeah. There's a weird connection between this movie and our previous movie, Things Heard and Seen, where we've got almost the same plot, where the guy is evil and killing people. And it's three, in this case, technically the main character woman is alive, but it's sort of her ghost tormenting him along with the ghosts of his previous two victims, which is sort of the same as the other movie, where you've got the three women killing, and it all comes from art, just like in the other movie. And probably they were thinking about the Furies back then too.
So if we had watched these movies in the reverse order, 100% we would have been like, oh my gosh, it's the Furies again.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about the Furies myself to have picked up on that the first time around, but I will be watching for it in the future.
Keep an eye out for Furies.
Anytime there's three vengeful women ghosts.
Yeah, I don't think this
women.
is the first one I've seen that was about the Furies, but I can't remember exactly what the other one was. I feel like I've seen a movie called The Furies or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Are you thinking of The Fast and the Furious?
Yes. Yes, and that's all about family. Which is why they talk about crimes against the family.
Yeah. But if the story had started from his point of view, they may have picked a different piece of art as his thing that he was obsessed with. Yeah. And then it would have been a completely different movie. But I like that it went this way. And honestly, like, there was the part of him, like you said, there was the part of him that was like, it's not me, it's this bad thing in my brain, and I regret every single time that I fail to, you know, resist its power. And so maybe he was obsessed with it because he wanted, you know, he was like those serial killers who, you know, taunt the police and send them like clues, and they're like, I want you to catch me. I don't want you to catch me, but I do want you to catch me.
Yeah. Mild spoiler from somewhere near the end. The entire credits of this movie play over him writhing on the ground, having basically a seizure and killing himself.
Yes,
It's
like he
quite
is
a
now
scene.
attacking himself, hallucinating that he's being attacked by a demon, and like, call him off, like he's trying to get her to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
But then the whole credits is us just realizing that's just him attacking himself.
And it's like 5 minutes.
Props to Josh Rubin for being able to keep that up the way he did for that extended period of time, where it's just him. There is nothing else happening. She's standing there just watching.
Yeah.
And
She's like scratching her arm. And
Yeah,
just
for like 5 minutes, he has to just
flail.
Yeah. But he really did a nice job of, like, at first it was very frantic, and then like you can see him getting weaker and closer to death, but still twitching, and you know, it's a thing. It's a thing for sure. And at the very beginning, where we haven't really met him yet, and they're like establishing his character, and we're seeing that there's all these close-up shots on things like this guy's tie and this other guy's tie clip and a piece of the statue and
a handkerchief.
Yes, like, and it's, when you think back, it's all of the, I guess you could call, beautiful components. Like, it's all the pieces of a person's outfit or of the thing that's happening in front of him that are like, ooh, there's a stylistic choice or pattern or, you know, whatever.
Something to try to make yourself more beautiful as opposed to just putting on clothes.
Yes. And so we keep getting these close-ups, and he's, you know, it's showing us him obsessing over it. And those two things are very art house style.
Yeah, there's a lot of art house. But we go through all this art house madness, and then we get to the Evil Dead scene where the wolf lady is sitting on the stove, you know, not stove, but cabin stove.
Yeah, it's like a Franklin stove.
Yeah, that's what they call that. And yeah, she's burning her butt, but she's fine because she's a ghost demon. And the stove turns into an Evil Dead snake monster attacking him, and he's fighting it. It looks exactly like a scene out of Evil Dead.
I was like, how did he keep a straight face as he like pretended to fight off this like stovepipe snake?
It was crazy.
It was cartoonish.
And everything about it was, I mean, I think it was even meant to evoke Evil Dead. But then it gets weirder and goofier when the three women dismantle the red owl in front of him. They use a handy laser cutting device that they have.
It was pretty high tech.
Yeah. To cut off the owl's head, sort of. And they lift it up, and underneath is this Muppet.
It was like... Is it the one about Mars Attacks or something?
Oh, nope.
It was...
Yeah, it is like Mars Attacks.
With like the just eyeballs, you know, floating eyeballs in front, and then this like pulsing red...
Flat, bloody
like
thing.
I mean, I think it was meant to symbolize like the nervous system, right? Like it has a central piece and then all the little phalanges coming off of it. But it was red and smooth looking, sort of like it was made out of like red silk.
I guess it was not.
It was kind of glistening looking.
It didn't look in any way like actual bloody innards. It looked like plastic or silk or whatever. It's just a cartoon creature.
It was very much like a theater prop. It was like suddenly we're watching a play, and this is what, like, stage prop.
Yeah.
This was not a movie special effect.
And
it was a stage
those
prop.
Giant Kermit eyes. It was just hilarious. Like, there must be message, some meaning they put behind that, because they had to know that it looked absolutely ridiculous. But I don't know what their big message was.
I don't know either. I don't know. It was also very, very art house.
Yeah.
Very like one man show in a, 12-seat theater kind of vibe.
And like a one-man show, the serial killer, took it very seriously, and he was like, oh no, I'm seeing this awful thing, but
yes,
we're seeing it, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Maybe he was in like this kind of shock over, that's the thing that's been compelling me to kill people, this Muppet.
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what it was. It was his brain.
Yeah, but it wasn't very brainy.
No, but you know what? Okay, the shape of it, this is embarrassing after talking about like this, having watched this artsy movie. The thing that shape immediately reminded me of is that in Grey's Anatomy,
ooh,
Derek Shepherd,
artsy,
who is a neurologist, brain surgeon, is like, his whole thing is that they want to solve Alzheimer's. And at one point, fairly early on, he is inspired and he draws a thing on the wall above their bed. And it was that shape because it had to do with the brain. It was something about how some part of the brain that was that shape, or enough that shape that when I saw it, I was like, oh, that reminded me immediately of Derek Shepherd drawing the brain.
That's interesting.
So like it was some component of brain.
It's not brain shaped. It's more like a crab or a spider. It's kind of like the alien that's in the movie Alien, the thing that sucks on your face.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that shape. But yeah, that could totally be some part of the brain. And they were maybe showing him, this is the part of your brain that it's in, so take that part out.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably like a third of your brain.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. It's, when I heard about this movie, I heard about it in the sense of like, oh, here's one of these really trippy, crazy movies. And I don't feel like it is that. I think it's kind of straightforward. Like, it's all dream state stuff, but it's all really obvious what the dream state is. So it doesn't confuse you or anything. It's just, there's a lot of symbolism. It's
interpretable.
Yeah, it is.
As opposed to the unfathomable nature of some of those movies.
Yeah, stuff where you just don't even understand what's going on. And like, well, I thought that guy was dead.
Yeah.
I was on board with this movie from the beginning because the way it's done, it just feels like, I don't know, it felt like I want to know what's going to happen. Like, it's very obvious early in the movie that he's going to break into this one lady's house to kill her. He doesn't break in. He doesn't ask to come in. He says, don't worry, I'll wait outside, which makes her ask him to come in. All very important concepts. But
ladies, the tip here, the thing we learned from this movie is make them wait outside.
Yeah. But you kind of know it's coming, but also you're like, well, what's going on? And then he sees the red door and the owl, and you're like, huh. And it's just interesting and raised questions, and it comes together and it all makes sense. And yeah, it just works. So like we mentioned a bunch of kind of really silly, weird things. And then also there's other weird things. There's the part where the wolf gets the woman head, or it wasn't a wolf, it was like a Doberman, gets a woman head that looked ridiculous also.
I thought that's what you were going to mention earlier.
I forgot about that until just now. It was crazy. There was just a lot of silly imagery, but then you kind of, I don't know, they had me in the space, which means the movie was working, where I was accepting these things, except the Muppet brain monster. That was so silly, I had to laugh. But the other ones, like, I was like, oh, that looks dumb, but okay, I'm on board. I'm following your story and I'm enjoying it and I'm thinking about what it all means. So they got me. I was interested. I was hooked. And I think it was really well done. And there was a moment, I don't know if this even makes sense, but I was looking at it and kind of the lo-fi look of it. You know, it's like they had that filter with the pops and snaps, but they also had, I think it was probably filmed digitally because, you know, it's a modern movie, but it had been done up so that it was kind of blurry, not blurry, but, you know, it looked like 70s film. And I had this moment of just like, that kind of looks good. Like, you don't have to have all this detail, all this sharpness. It's nice to have it kind of smoothed out, basically, which, I don't know. It's a weird thought. Anyway, it looked good. Everything about it was good, except some weird silliness. And so I think I would regard this film as 4 brain chickens out of 5. It's not the greatest thing, but it was fun.
Okay. I also really enjoyed watching this movie. So from the description, it's one of those ones where the description that they put in there does not get you in the right headspace for what you are about to see.
Yeah.
So the description seemed more like it was going to be one of those like serial killer horror. I actually made you look up, like, is this really a horror film? Because the description, I'm like, ugh, this is going to end up being another thriller and it's not actually horror. It was. So I was sold from the beginning because it was, that thriller adjacent storyline or description. Mm-hmm. Then as soon as I was convinced that Josh Rubin was a capable horror actor and not just going to be like some weird improv thing happening, because I will say I should have trusted because he's good at improv.
Uh-huh.
So many times they get bad improv people. They think, oh, this person doesn't really need a script for this. They can just make it up. And then you end up with like just somebody shouting somebody's name over and over again and nothing actually happening, like no actual story. This clearly was a story that had been written. It had a script and he was doing a great job acting it. So as soon as I was comfortable with that, then I was like, okay, I'm in. And there were a couple of points where usually when he killed off a woman and I was like, oh no, I thought the story was going to be the two of them battling it out and now she's dead and now what? I think that was part of what kept me interested. Was I was like, well, where does this go now?
Yeah, I definitely felt that.
Okay, I was bothered by the like woman's head being CGI'd onto the the fake running wolf.
Yeah. I
was like, this one is maybe a bridge too far. The pink monstrosity inside the owl's head, though, I was okay with it. And I
thought it was hilarious.
I mean, yes, it was. But I think it also gave me, this is going to sound ridiculous because it's definitely, because it has that like When Mars Attacks style to it, It's not old. It was one of the more like weirdly modern looking things in the movie. But the way it was done, where they like took off, I mean, it was like a mascot, a school mascot taking off the head of the animal, right? They took off the owl head and this thing was underneath, and it was so theatrical and so stage performance styled that I think it almost made me think of like Shakespeare or like Roman theater.
Mm-hmm. That was probably the intent.
And so I'm like, this is ridiculous. And also, okay, sure.
That's how I felt about most of the movie. Like, okay,
I'll go with this. Like, show me what you got. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think I've already said like how positively I felt about the way it looked and the way it sounded and the acting and like all that stuff. And I've already mentioned that the story, while not being completely unique, felt like it had enough of a unique twist to it that it felt fresh. It felt like something interesting to watch. All of that combined together, I'm going to go with what my initial gut was. I am going to give this 4.5 brain chickens out of 5 because it was good. It was interesting. I suspect that this is one that I will be thinking about at some point in the future. This one's going to come back into my head and I'm going to be like, what was up with that brain thing? What was going on there? I'm going to be processing this one for a while. And I will now watch other horror movies in a different way because now I'm going to be looking for anytime there are 3 vengeful women coming together, I'm going to be like, oh, is this inspired by the Furies?
It is.
Which, sure. And probably I could go back and find a number of films that we have watched where I completely missed that. And that now other movies are going to have a different layer to them because this movie, I don't know that it taught me anything, but it gave me another filter to look through, I guess.
Yes, all art is built upon that which has come before.
Yes. So that, I think that piece, the piece that I feel like now I'm smarter about horror movies from this, which is ridiculous, but still, I think that little thing is why it gets a 4.5 instead of a 4.
All right. Well, we better get back in there. We got a bunch more movies to watch.
Movie sign!
You guys, that's the movie sign. Did you hear it? We gotta go. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Honk, 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 honk.
Honk, honk, where are the geese?